Hello everyone, you are watching a snippet of Countdown June 15, 2023. Today is Thursday. See the full version on Patreon. And thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. Starting in September, there will be many new programs on Patreon that will be available only for patrons. But today there is something to see. So subscribe. And I'm moving on to the main thing. The armed forces of Ukraine continue to advance, fixing the successful advance of their troops hundreds of meters deep into the Russian defense. Deputy Defense Minister of Ukraine Anna Malya said the day before that Ukrainian troops advanced 200 to 500 meters in the Bakhmut area and 300 to 350 meters in the Zaporizhzhia direction, stressing that adverse weather conditions do not always affect Ukrainian offensive operations. According to British expert Jack Watling, the decisive phase of the operation is yet to come. He predicts that the fighting will soon become even more difficult for the armed forces of Ukraine, since the deeper they penetrate Russian defenses, the more opportunities for Russian artillery to defeat them. At the same time, Ukrainian artillery mounts, on the contrary, will not be able to work as efficiently, and the actions of the armed forces of Ukraine will become more predictable, since they will have to move only through cleared areas. The risk of using Russian aviation against the Ukrainian military is also growing. He predicts that it will be a very difficult summer for Ukraine's Western partners, as Ukrainian losses will mount and success will take time. However, in his opinion, Western countries should continue to train the Ukrainian military and supply the armed forces of Ukraine with the necessary equipment and ammunition. No matter how much territory is liberated during this offensive, it is critical to convince the Kremlin that its defeat is inevitable even if it happens in several stages, Watling concludes. According to Western officials, the armed forces of Ukraine advanced about 7 km deep into the occupied territories and liberated at least 4 villages, although 7 were officially announced. The interlocutors of the Sky News publication confirm the success of the Ukrainian counteroffensive and predict further progress. See this and other stories in full on Patreon. Become our patrons now and look further in this program. A meeting of the heads of military departments in the Ramstein format took place in Brussels. Before the meeting, NATO Secretary-General Stoltenberg said that NATO allies had already begun training Ukrainian pilots on F-16 aircraft. The head of the IAEA, Rafael Grossi, cancelled his visit to the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant the day before for security reasons, but visited it today. Grossi's visit to the captured station should reassure the public that the situation will not get out of control. But, in addition to the situation at the ZNPP, the fact of mining the territories of the Crimean Titan plant in Armyansk is also alarming. However, despite the danger of new man-made technogens, officials argue that the European Union and NATO will most likely not send troops to Ukraine. This was stated by the head of the EU military staff Hervé Blezan. The right hand of Kadyrov Deputy Delimkhanov is neither alive nor dead. The story of his disastrous survival takes on more and more details and begins to resemble a movie about a weekend at Barney's, where the party owner died, but the guests continue to communicate with him as if they were alive, despite the smell of decay. The reputation of the aggressor country hurts the diplomatic face. Australia cancelled an agreement with Russia on the construction of a new building of the Russian embassy in the centre of Canberra next to the country's parliament. An economic forum is taking place in St. Petersburg, more like a fair of criminal outcasts. General background: no money, but you hold on which expensive escorts sell their charms profitably. Elderly singers promise $1 million for every hit leopard, and forum participants dance to Thieves karaoke. Putin is secretly preparing the nationalization of Western companies. In principle, he could go even further and apply the Bolshevik practice of expropriation, but he does not. Because hybridity is above all. And that's all for today. See the full version of this program on the Patreon resource. There are many important details, and thanks to everyone who is becoming our patrons right now. I hugged everyone. See you tomorrow on Friday Live. Glory to Ukraine.